Presented by Financial Center First Credit Union.
Thank you for joining us for this week's Community Link. I'm Caroline Mays Medley. Providing every student in Indianapolis access to a high-quality, world-class education. That is the mission of the Mind Trust. Joining us today is Patrick Jones from the Mind Trust. I want to welcome you, Patrick.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Glad
being
to be here.
Yes, so tell us how the Mind Trust accomplishes this mission that you have for world-class education.
Absolutely, and that's so important. So one of the things we want to do is launch high-quality schools within Indianapolis. And in doing so, we launch schools in multiple ways. Independent charter schools, we launch schools in partnership with IPS, known as innovation schools. And we want to make sure through those schools we provide that high-quality education you're talking about. We also support schools. And so we're grateful for the support of the Richard M. Fairbanks Foundation. And with their help, we've been able to run a National Principals Academy Fellowship through Relay Graduate School of Education. And we've had over 100 school leaders participate.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So there is a focus right now on systemic racism,
Absolutely.
These issues. Tell us how you all are addressing the issues in education.
So I think there are three tenets to it that you have to address. One is power, the other is people, and the last is processes. And in terms of power, you have to address it through leadership and decision making. So one thing we've invested in is something called Surge Academy, where we have leaders of color come through a leadership development program where they learn to be executive leaders in spaces and learn to follow what they call their freedom dreams. And in that, when we go after our dreams and we gain these leadership opportunities and leadership skills, we can make the decisions that are most appropriate for our children, and we can make the decisions that are most appropriate for our communities. So that's one way we do it, through power. Through processes and people, we have to address the biases that stop our children from learning at their highest ability. And so we also have an equity cohort that we've launched this year, and it's going to be starting here in January, where we have 12 institutions, schools, and not-for-profits that are going to engage in a 10-month intensive equity training where they will investigate and interrogate their processes and systems to make their processes more equitable for children, all children.
That's awesome. So in our last 20 seconds, tell us how COVID has affected education and how we can get it back on track.
Yeah, access is the biggest issue there. Kids having access to technology, having access to high quality internet. And I think it's really interesting you say back on track. We have to admit that we were never on track in the first place.
True.
And so one of the things we have to do is provide kids with high quality instructional materials, that's high quality curriculum. We can't lower the bar. So I think for people to go into a space where they say we have to remediate kids, it's going to be high coming out of COVID. We have to resist that and say we have to get kids to the highest level of where they need to be on grade level materials, on grade level math, and on grade level reading to get them where they need to be, as opposed to remediating.
Great. Thanks to you and Mind Trust for helping do that. Thank you so much. For some key facts about the nation's Latino population, here's Community Link's Gloria Jimenez.
The U.S. Hispanic population reached 60.6 million in 2019. This makes Hispanics the nation's second fastest growing racial or ethnic group. Hispanics made up 18% of the U.S. population in 2019. People of Mexican origin account for slightly over 60% of the nation's overall Hispanic population as of 2018. Those of Puerto Rican origin are the next largest group. The fastest population growth among U.S. Latinos has come among those with origins in Venezuela, the Dominican Republic, Guatemala, and Honduras. 4 of out 5 Latinos are U.S. citizens. As of 2018, about 80% of Latinos living in the country are U.S. citizens. That's up from 74% in 2010. This includes people born in the U.S. and its territories. For Community Link, I'm Gloria Jimenez.
Thank you so much for joining us today. This was your weekly Community Link. To share this segment or learn more, head to wishtv.com, and we'll see you next week.